Ladies and gentlemen, we will go on to the next keynote, and the topic is fostering employee well-being and avoiding burnout. Our keynote speaker for the session is Mr. Gautam Ray, ED, HR and Admin, CESC Limited. May I request Mr. Gautam Ray to kindly come onto the dais and give his keynote presentation. Give him a round of applause as I welcome Mr. Gautam Ray onto the dais. Sir.
It's yet good morning. The topic today is very contextual, what has been requested, that well-being and the burnout. It recalled me that the Great Depression of 1930s. There was a Great Depression, all of us know, and there had been some of the happenings. The trade union activity that emerged, introduction of Social Security Act, fair labor standards, great participation of women in the workforce, ILO convention, 40 hours work per week, and there have been 33% job migration to agriculture. The important point what I'd like to mention here, that it took almost to Second World War, that means almost 15 years to settle. There have been huge job layoff and significant migration from a level below job. The people who are operating in one level of job, they had to accept the next level of job because of that recession. There is a comparison what is going on, whether the recession due to the pandemic, the inflation worldwide, what is happening today, what will be the impact? Any such major recession takes time. And whenever the situation becomes very tight, there is very less elbow room to operate. There will be stringencies and the impact will come on the people. That is a usual phenomenon. But at the same time, if you see the trend today, if we talk about the new talents, I would opt a word called flexibility is the key word today. People want flexibility. Where I will work, when I will work, will not be restrictive, will not be regimented. I am speaking the another side of the story. Industry is facing some issues, some challenges. I will come little bit. But the people whom we are talking about, they have a different mindset. The new generation talents I am speaking of. They need flexibility, huge flexibility. Now, typically this pandemic, what has affected, in many of the industries, particularly the IT industries, I am not an expert, I do not have much of an experience on it, but I can little bit share about our industry. But generally what has happened, there have been a reversal trend also. 56% people considered for job change. And that's basically under pressure. And immediate effect of industry, what I was speaking, more than 40% decrease in well-being. Well-being, I am telling wellness in a larger sense. And that has impacted in migration of people from one job to another, even going for a flexible way of working. 75% people face the burnout. These are the figures why I am mentioning to draw the picture of how the impact is very much serious on nature. In our industry, Incidentally, I belong to an industry, utility sector, electricity, which could not be stopped for a second, even during the period of deep pandemic, with whole lot of anxiety, whole lot of uncertainty, but we could not stop the ball rolling. And because we believe in the emotional connect, generally we do not face the problem of attrition. Most of the people you will find the lifetime engagement. And I have seen there is no resistance, no reluctance. Absolutely people were eager rather to participate in the job when they worked in the roadside or in the shop floor, because this is an industry where you have to make your own hand dirty. It's not paperwork, it can't be work from home. But we have not faced any issue from the people, from the employee. In spite of we lost more than 25 of our employees, there have been more than 1,000 of our employees have been affected. But the whole of the employee, the talent pool, they have participated with eagerness. And why? Why it happened? Because of the emotional connect with the organization. Because of the trust with the organization. These are extremely important today. On the question of well-being, yes, we offer 100% medical support. In fact, during that period of time, I am not going into the history, but we had to open our own centers. So many number of people were getting affected. We are not getting any space to get them admitted. So we have to create our own system, own facility. When I talk about my own medical department, sometimes I come into tears, the way they have really contributed. But these are some of the issues, probably because of a legacy-driven organization of more than 125 years, we have been able to institutionalize this in the DNA of our organization. But if we see worldwide, this is not the real picture, and this is not possible also. Now, if we talk about the well-being or wellness, this is primarily not related to only health or mental health. It's all encompassing. Wellness is a word, if we can take in a much larger perspective, then only we can address the issue. What are the issues? One is, of course, reward. Today's reward system has to again be flexible. It's not very structured way what we have designed earlier. So the whole lot of compensation, benefit, it has to be flexible, bottom up, individual based, and that has to design. The most important thing is the culture, the environment where people are working. Because we often believe our organization as something which is an island. It is not an island. It is operating in a societal ecosystem. What is happening in the family, what is happening in the civic society, what is happening in other part of the city, that will have a huge impact on the organization also. So not only the environment, quote unquote, the green, I am speaking about the whole societal ecosystem where we are operating, we have to look into. And in today's world, the most important aspect is sustainability. All of us know there have been COP26, now COP27 has been there in Egypt, earlier it was in Glasgow. Tall commitments have been made even by the country like India, that how we will proceed towards net zero. Now, it's not only, why I am mentioning here, it's not in the physical meeting the target. It's a culture change process. It is a participatory process. where the whole organization along with the people have to take part. And this can only be achieved if the organization is operating on a collaborative framework, participatory framework, and that's very important. It's important the working space and working model. I was mentioning about the flexibility. I will come little bit what is happening in some of the aberrations what is happening. But this work-life balance can also be addressed little bit if we can incorporate the flexibility, but that doesn't mean to bring in chaos. We have to make an order in the chaos. That's very important. That is the challenge. Now what is happening, that particularly in experience what I have in our industry, that technology is changing very fast, 4 to 5 years at best. And there is a need to continuously upskill and reskill the whole lot of people. Sometimes I think, why are we at all bothered about attrition? If that is the call of the day, then we have to redesign the entire framework accordingly. It's all the same to me to upskill and reskill my own people, and instead having a whole lot of new person coming in the organization with that skill. And that actually, it's not the name, it's the person with the skill, person with the knowledge. And one important aspect I can tell, with my experience, if we can really work on the knowledge system, knowledge management is a task by itself. You have to have the knowledge council, we have our innovation council, and the hunger for knowledge, if that can be addressed for the particularly new talents, it will definitely pay in the retention. That's very important in today's world, because we talk about knowledge worker. If we talk about knowledge worker, then the ambience, the environment has to be there so that the knowledge can be properly cultivated. That's very important. In sync with the sustainability effort, we all know about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. Inclusiveness is not something which is only for the writing on the wall. It's something which has to be in the DNA, and who are there to be actually on the forefront to implement or to redirect the organizations toward this, all coming under the employee well-being part. This is nothing but the leadership. If leadership can change, leadership can think, then only it will be implemented in the ground. Otherwise, it will not. So much more importance for leadership to understand and appreciate and to make changes what is required for. Today's the new talents, they are not only seeking for compensation, not only seeking for designation, not only seeking for role, they seek for a purpose. Purpose is very important, and that is deep purpose. I would suggest you can go through a book by Ranjay Gulati, a Harvard professor, The Deep Purpose, and he has explained that how really people, particularly the new gen, what we call the Gen Z or whatever, how they are seeking for the purpose. And seeking the purpose means, who am I in the organization? What am I to do in the organization? How much I am important in the organization? And from the beginning, they have started thinking like this. So it is more of a purpose. You have to find out the people, how they can be engaged through a definite purpose. Purpose is beyond KRA, beyond target. It is more of a finding myself in the whole organization framework where I am. So, and that actually comes from the empowerment also. These are the very important structure we have to think of. Now, in our organization, suppose, the whole target today, keeping in the sustainability in the agenda, the decarbonization, digitalization, of course. I have seen in my lifetime, when I joined, we call it substations, which actually distribute power to different parties, nodes you can tell. Nearly 150 substations we had in the city of Kolkata. And I have seen those all 24 into 7, 24 into 7 manned. Today, believe me, none of the substations are manned. It is pure play, what you called OT. It is pure play automation. And it is remotely controlled. Now, this is the type of technology. It is technology which is driving the industry. Now, this is the changes what is happening. So, one side, there is a 4 to 5 years time frame for an organization to make it ready, competitive with the latest form of technology and the productive system. Another part, the people who will be flowing to the organization, the brain, the knowledge, the think tanks, they want flexibility. Huge form of flexibility. And pandemic has reinstigated that. Pandemic has strengthened that. Yes, it is possible. We talked so much in the HR conference in the last 1 decade about disruptive changes, managing uncertainty. But what could be more, what COVID has given us the example? We didn't know, but people, Earth, the world didn't stop. Yes, there were major functions which could not be delivered, but at the same time, there were functions which delivered, not stopped for a minute. So everybody has to evolve how to operate in the uncertainty. So this no more a linear equation. In mathematical term, it is a non-linear differential equation, what we have to solve. But that is the task of the leadership today. Actually, if you ask me, people want to work, but they do not want a job. There is a difference between I will work somewhere and I am doing a job. So whole framework of giving me a job and I deliver a job, from there, I am a working partner. That concept is coming. And we have to work. We have been talking, I have listening to the earlier session, about the gig economy, the gig workers. We call so much about the burnout. I tell you, there is a phenomena which is rapidly increasing. It is quiet quitting. Quiet quitting is, I am there but I am not there. And more than 50% people in an organization is doing that. And that is not really serving the purpose. That is not really adding the value. And that type of zeal, that type of productive input cannot make the organization competitive in this cutting edge. So quiet quitting is anxiety for the organizations today. And that is a result of burnout. So it is not that I am speaking to bring a complete chaos. Whoever will do, whatever will do, whenever he will feel good, he will do, that cannot be. But the challenge today is how to marry between these two apparently controversial, contradictory phenomena. But I can tell you the pandemic has given us an idea and a light to think that it's not really contradictory. It can be complementary too. And that actually is major responsibility for us today. You, particularly the IT industry, are seriously thinking how to address the issue of moonlighting. Now, moonlighting, whether to address moonlighting through the regulatory framework, whether to address moonlighting through restrictive measures, punitive measures, or accept it and find ways how it can add value to my process. Because if I talk about sigma of the industry, not a industry, if we talk about the whole lot of IT industry together as an umbrella, then even moonlighting, they are serving, moonlighting means that I am working in an organization formally, I am, with my spare time, I am working in the other organizations. And that's a phenomena which is very much growing. So, people are thinking that whether that should be allowed, whether, because there are many other issues also, data confidentiality, these are there. But to me, we have to think in totality. And we have to think in a manner whether how can we restrict your data, manage your data confidentially, that is a technological challenge, not a people challenge. Even not doing moonlighting, I can also be vulnerable to the data sanctity. So these are the burnout phenomena I am telling you, because why people are thinking like this? Because he is not satisfied here. Nobody wants to work for 20 hours a day. But the dissatisfaction what I have here, that's not necessarily restricted to money, restricted to promotion. That's more of a purpose. I am finding myself, who am I, where I am. And from there, this migration is coming. This free-flowingness is coming. Quiet quitting is coming. Moonlighting is a phenomena which is happening today. And that we have to address. So, at the end, what I would say, apart from the very structured approach of what HR says, through my experience, what I have thought, that making emotional connect with the employee is the top priority. Address their moral and ethical issues. Build up the trust in the organization. We have been identified as top 100 companies through GPDW survey for consecutive years. But I have seen the most important index where they operate, Great Place to Work, is the trust index. So how to build the trust within the organization and address those issues with emotion, with empathy, then only probably we can address, because it may require, in our organization we have seen, it may require for a fault to fix up a fault, people to work 48 hours at a stretch. It may require. But it's not that it is forced. It is not that it is by design. So any eventuality, employee, like what we have seen in the pandemic for our company, any eventuality, healthcare industry, any eventuality can be, the challenge can be met up by the employees together if he can find a deep purpose in it. Thank you. Sorry, I have to.
Thank you very much, sir. May I request Mrs. Suman Banerjee to kindly come on stage, please, to present a memento to Mr. Gautam Ray. Thank you very much for that interesting deliberation. I'm sure there is so much more to share, but because of the time constraint, we will have to request you to kindly keep it to the time limit. Thank you very much, sir. We request you to take your seat in the auditorium.